What is going on, guys? HappiDaze here. In today's video, we're taking on day 2 of Grand Party Season 17. We have changed up our teams a little bit, so just to give you a little quick update on our comp. So we brought back our Free Spirit team. I saw videos based on some other streamers, and it looks like they're really not buffed that bad. So we're going to keep them on there. You can see even buffed, they still do 76,000 damage, which is just insane. So we're going to keep them, see how they go. We have a striker team at the top to kind of help out. So kind of the goal is have a striker team at the top. If I can save a burst and have 2 for the last match, great. If I can't, it's not the end of the world. So that's kind of what we're going to do there. So let's go ahead and get right into it, see how these teams go, and see if we have to change anything. So for the first match of the day, I'm just going to face this Kaku guy just because it's a free win. So yeah, his teams look all pretty standard. Nothing really too scary on any of them. So yeah, let's just go ahead and see how this goes. I'm curious to see how the striker team will go. Hopefully with, Roger Whitebear can just do so much damage themselves. We have Jack do the HP cuts. This team is really made to get that special going quickly. The Sasaki and this team kind of helps with some strength defense as well. Jack helps with some defense for the whole team. Tesoro gives cooldown as well as basically just, doing a nice damage shot. So that's kind of why we have them there. And then the Luffy and Yamato unit is there really just to help do damage. They do more damage as the battle goes on. So if I wanted to, I probably could swap them and Aokiji in the back row just to get a little bit more damage. But at least for the moment, I really don't see the need to do it. So I'm just going to kind of leave the teams as they are and let it fall as they may. Now, lucky for us, he moved King to the top, but he wasn't ready. So that just helps us out immensely. So our burst is ready, but because none of the other units on here are really scaring me, I'm just going to go ahead and actually save it. You can see we have a ton of defense. We're just kind of tanking hits without too much problems. Whitebear's just going to come in, take out 2 units himself. And we can pretty much skip at this point because there's really no chance that they can really do anything to us. And we secure an easy victory for match number 1 of round 1. I'm just going to swap up my strength team up to the middle slot, just so I can just quickly get through this for you guys. We can go ahead and get on to match number 2. So I think what I'm going to do here is probably use their special right before Luffy's ready to go. My Luffy now is level 130 with some of the posters we're able to get from the metal exchange on at the Sugo Tavern. So definitely check that out. You can only get 1 per color, but if you're trying to level up some characters, or you're missing 1 or 2 posters to have them to, LLB 5, then it's certainly worth it, I think, to go ahead and go get them. That's unfortunate for us that our Luffy got binded. Is what it is, though. The good news for us is that Kobe's going to go boost everyone, bring everyone to the front, haste a lot of people. And this will be our first chance seeing Blackbeard and seeing how he does. I did add Blackbeard to the team since I pulled him. Wow, that was actually pretty nuts that he was able to action bind all those units and just allow us to kind of just plug through them. So it's interesting. I didn't think originally he would be good. I worry that he would end up taking away a good defensive spot from Jack. Usually goes in these teams. Now Blackbeard does have the 35% HP cut, so obviously that makes him okay. It's not the full near 50% that Jack would give, but it's still not terrible, surprisingly. So there we go. First match of the day is in the books, and we have secured the victory there. All right, so let's see who our opponent has for match number 2. So it looks like the top team is a Roger Odin captain. Not too scary. I'm not really concerned about any of those teams. None really look too crazy. Middle, we have the G5 Luffy captain, of course. You gotta always watch out for the burst. But yeah, even this team's not bad. And then if we look at the bottom team, so the bottom team is obviously much more buffed up than the previous 2 teams. So I think I'm just gonna go ahead and face that middle team. Make it nice and easy. I'm going to use that same strategy, use the Blackbeard team to go first, then we'll use the Luffy special. I'm not anticipating I have to use a burst on the first round just because their front team, it almost looks like an auto team, to be honest, because there's just not a lot of synergy of the units here. So, is what it is. We'll just go ahead and go and see if we can get through this match without using our specials. Like I said, not worried at all. Should be a nice, easy match for this first round here. The one thing I do like about this team is the CT speed is pretty crazy on this team, which is good. It just allows you to get through and get your bursts off much quicker. Nice bit of damage there. We'll get 4,000 hit or 3,000 hit from Tesoro there. Fortunately, a lot of their HP is already gone, so Jack didn't really do too much. But once the Luffy and Yamato goes, they'll probably wipe out the rest of their front line, and they'll just be cleaning up the back 2 units there. That's good. We got our burst secured for the next match, so we can just go ahead and use the burst pretty close to the start of the battle. And again, we'll get to see how Blackbeard does in his second match that we have using him. I'm just going to go ahead and skip. There's only one person left, or 2 people left. All right, so that match is done. Super easy victory, which was good. And we're going to go ahead and use our strength team here. Should go even quicker than the last match, just because we don't have anyone on their team who will be able to really special bind our units. It would be nice if we had a little more CT speed. It's not the quickest, unfortunately, but the good news is, even though we're going to miss out on Law and some of those specials, Kobe should come up and then help move that order of some of those units back to the top, which should just make it great for everyone else. I could use the burst here. I'm just going to let Luffy and those guys do their thing. I probably don't even need the burst to win here. All right, nice and easy. So that was match number 2. Like I said, we won without too many problems there. Pretty straightforward. That's always good. Got a red ticket, which is awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and check what's going on for match number 3. So looking at the captains here, like I said, it looks like they're all actual captains. So just make sure to set your captain to a recruit once you're done for the day. These guys all have 6 wins, but they didn't. But just make sure to help out the community there. But even looking at that, I look at this first team and I see a Sugar. And that makes me kind of want to take on this team. It is a driven team, so we do kind of have to watch out a little bit for that. But it doesn't look kind of too scary there. They do have the Shiki on that crew, so you just got to kind of watch out a little bit there. Some defense down, things like that. But I mean, outside of that, I don't really see any units in here that scare me too badly. So what I'm probably going to do is save my strength team, obviously, for last. I can put my free spirit in the middle in case for whatever reason I can't get through that first match without the victory, and we'll kind of take it from there. So yeah, let's go ahead and take on this opponent, and we're just going to swap our strength team to the end so we can have the dex versus strength advantage there. So the only downside to this team is that we do have 3 red units on here in the form of the Luffy, Yamato, the Sasaki there next to Jack, and the Jack himself. So we are going to take some damage there. But like I said, the goal here is to be able to use a burst, and that will just kind of help make sure that we kind of get through this content pretty quick. I think our special, they have a little bit higher special than us. They have a 10 CT, so that unfortunately isn't the best. But it kind of is what it is, so. Unfortunate for us that our Jack got binded there. For a bunch of turns, unfortunately. Blackbeard's going to come in and just take out 2 without too much problems. He almost triggers the special himself. Luckily, none of them are ready, so once the Zoro goes here, I should be able to just bink my burst. I'll just wait for a couple more to come in from the back line just to make sure we get the most damage out of there. Perfect. And we'll just use our burst here. So boom, nice and easy. Got through that even though they had type advantage for a bunch of units, so that's good that we were able to kind of get through there. We have one of their guys left, but it won't be enough to save them or give them any chance to beat us. So we'll go into match number 2. Now what's interesting in match number 2 is that we have obviously Nami and Karina. They don't. So that kind of gives us the advantage there. We can rewind their specials. I don't think I'm going to use the special or the burst unless I have to, just because I want to make sure that I can guarantee the win on number 3. And they'll probably get a burst off relatively quickly. They're pretty close to getting their burst meter filled. But luckily, hopefully, Otama will be able to help us out there. So let's see how this match goes. I could just skip it, but I'm actually kind of curious to see how... obviously, the Law has the CT, but a lot of these units on this team are Free Spirit and Psy, so they should be getting some debuffs from this season. But we'll see. I mean, you can already see Nami and Karina are already ready to go, which is fantastic. Unfortunately, they're not anywhere in the lineup yet, but it looks like they'll be going shortly after Sanji and Toy Soldier go over here. Perfect. We'll reverse all their specials. Oh, unless we get our order changed. So this is where we're going to take the burst. It's going to hurt. But like I said, luckily with Nami Karina here, we won't have the Luffy hitting us or the Yamato hitting us. So that just gives us a little extra time just to heal up and get in a good position to be able to, get back in fighting spirit again. Unfortunately, our specials just keep getting pushed, which is just kind of a pain in the butt, but it is what it is. Unfortunately for us, they just weren't together, so that just didn't help us at all. But like I said, our bench is pretty strong in terms of unit we have. We have Smoker, Dory Bragi in the back bench, so I'm not really concerned at all there anyway. That burst definitely hurt, but at least Otama's going to come in and just help us out. When Smoker goes, we'll probably have our burst ready to go, technically. But I want to force them to use their burst here, just so we're kind of guaranteed that victory on the last stage. Perfect. Exactly what we wanted to see happen. So we're just going to go ahead and skip the rest, just because now we just don't care. We have a burst, they don't, and we have type advantage, so it's just an easy matchup on fight number 3. Like I said, they have a pure Dex team. Not worried at all. This should be just a pretty easy way to close out and get 6 out of 6 wins for the day. We'll just wait till our special skill a little bit closer, and then we'll kick off the burst just to ensure that we do the most damage here. we'll just use the burst now. Kobe's going to be going shortly anyway, so we should hopefully haste a couple of characters up to the top and just allow us to melt through these people. Yeah, and there's only 3 left now in the bench. Yeah, this is why you don't want to run a Dex team, because their HP down, I believe, is like ridiculous, and they're very severely nerfed. So yeah, if you're using Dex, don't use Dex, because as I can just show you, one Luffy burst can just wipe through your whole team without any problems at all. All right, so there you have it. We are wrapping up Grand Party Season 17, Day 2, and we have 6 out of 6. As I mentioned before, just make sure that when you're done doing your matches for the day, you go ahead and set your leader to someone who's not G5 or not a burst, preferably someone who can give an idea of what your team looks like, the composition. So I'm going to go ahead and just make this Cracker my leader. That way people know that that strength team is there. It doesn't really matter until you get past 9 wins and you start not being able to see what teams are on the back end. But just make sure you set your leader at the end to a non-boosted character, and then just make sure that when the day starts, you don't forget to set them back to G5 or whatever character you're using as your GP leader. So thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comment section below how your Grand Party Day 2 is going. Are you still 6 out of 6? And what do you think of this season so far, with the kind of very interesting mechanics in terms of the units that are buffed and nerfed? Love to hear your comments and what is going on there. So until next time, be kind to each other.